So, conscious capitalism and the Conscious Business Alliance,
Yeah.
which kind of were born out of Flow,
Yeah.
which John Mackey and Michael Strong founded, and I've been running for the last 4 years, is focused on catalyzing and advancing a new model of business, essentially, focused on 3 principles. And the first principle is purpose, that every business has a deeper purpose, deeper than return on investment, right? And the second principle is that a business exists in a system of interdependent, interrelated stakeholders, and that the way to create a healthy business is to create value for all the stakeholders. Again, not focusing on just the shareholders and return on investment, but focusing on the system.
Yeah.
It's like a garden, you can't just take care of, one plant. You got to look at the soil and the water and the other plants around it, etc. And then the third principle is leadership. It's the kind of leadership that is there in service to the purpose and to the stakeholder system and the stakeholders, right? And that it's leadership that cultivates that spirit and that way of leading throughout the organization, right? As opposed to, I'm the boss and I'm here to get my big paycheck. Right? Different, to be
although I might want to get my big paycheck too.
Yeah, too, but it should come out of service. It's a byproduct.
I'm with you. Okay, so with the idea of purpose, the first principle here of a conscious business, that there's a purpose beyond return on investment. Now, if we just stop and pause right there, I would say most businesses don't have a purpose beyond return on investment. They a lot of businesses don't. When I hear a lot of people I know even talking about the business that, it's not necessarily like, oh, this is some purpose that's going to help other people or blah, blah. It's like, hey, this has got great margins. I think I have the skills to do it. I could make some good money. And by the way, once I do this business that has great margins, and then I can do some nice things for my employees because I'm a nice person.
So give an example. Somebody makes a widget, right?
Yeah.
But that widget does something, right? That widget has a purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's serving something in some way, right? That business, if the purpose of your business is to make money, hi, I'm in business to make money. Would you please give me your money so I can make money?
Right.
Come on. Nobody's going to transact with a business that only exists to make money. You've got to be delivering some kind of service or product.
Right.
And there is a purpose underlying that, right? Like Walmart's purpose was, and to some extent still is, providing access to goods at a low cost that people wouldn't otherwise have access to. Right?
Yeah.
That's a meaningful
Okay, but it's
purpose.
interesting. Like, someone says, I'm going to be a personal injury attorney because I think I can make a lot of money. And part of that is I want to help these people, blah, blah. But that kind of comes in later as an explanation, like, oh, there's something good I can, some good. That's not really why they're doing it.
So your question is about motivation again.
It is
because there's a difference between motivation and purpose, right?
Okay.
You may not be deeply connected to the purpose. You may not be coming from the place of the purpose.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
Okay.
Right? Providing that service is the purpose.
Okay.
Right? And the kind of the sense of conscious capitalism is that if you shift your focus from making the money to the purpose and to the stakeholders, and you support that system, you're going to end up with a happier, healthier, more money. You're going to have a different experience, and you're going to have a successful business.
So what you're saying is, actually, regardless of the person's original motivation, regardless, anybody who's in business could be running a conscious business.
Absolutely.
If they focused on the purpose, if they shifted their
and the stakeholders,
sense.
and they shifted their focus from money. It's like, it's not about this. It's about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're all interacting together to do this. Our customers, employees, vendors, investors, community. Right? We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Right? This is a social activity, right? Social enterprise.
Yeah.
All enterprise is social enterprise.
Okay, but let me just go a little bit harder here for a second, Jeff, which
is,
so I've met a lot of people in business, and I've met a lot of people who are doing good work in the world.
Yeah.
And I've met a few who are doing actually both and really combining them, and clearly you're one of them, and the network of people you're associated with. But it seems to be a minority. And in general, okay, maybe in your view,
minority.
It's a minority
it's
that's growing. That's maybe hopefully growing, and hopefully growing through some of these kinds of efforts and working for good, the book, and other things. But it seems like most people I know fall into two different kinds of motivational camps. Mm-hmm. One group of people is very motivated by service. There's something in their heart that just says, that is the most important thing to me, is to serve love in the world and its expression in justice, etc. Mm-hmm. And there are other people who are like, if I don't take care of my ass, nobody will. Mm-hmm. And really the real thing that's motivating me is that I want to make a good living, and I want to provide for my family, and I want the freedom and the power and everything that comes from this. And I'd rather not, I don't want to, stampede people in the process. I'd like to be a good person in the process. But that's really what's motivating me.
Right.
Because if I don't take care of myself, nobody will. Right. I mean, is that your experience?
Yes, that's my experience too. But, I've been, on this path for 30 years. Yeah. I consider it a path, right?
What the path is?
The path of integrating service and business.
Okay.
Service and money, as it were. And doing well while doing good, so to speak. And what I've seen, it's like the same way that the social investment industry, I was observing it. I actually did research on it for Bob Rodale in 1981 when it was incipient, right? Yeah. And now it's $1 trillion industry, right? So watched it grow. It's the same thing here. It's the natural products industry, right? Yeah. Organic food was nothing, 1961. Yeah. Now it's a, multi-billion-dollar industry. This is an emerging movement. It is, without a question, as to how far and wide and deeply it will reach and how much influence it will have. Let's look back 5, 10, 15 years from now. But it is here. It is happening. And it is starting to reach more people, and more people are starting to ask for it, pay attention to it, show up at the table for the conversations, for the explorations. So it's happening.
Yeah.
And how fast and how big, I don't presume to know. But it's here.